Worried about gout? Check out Ural, the effective urinary alkalinizer. Ural, neutralize your uric acid problem now.
Welcome to KiniNews. I'm your host Prasad. A case of the pot calling the kettle black. Najib wants to know why Kit Siang, who announced his retirement from politics on Sunday, has not been issued a fine for hugging people. Najib himself is the recipient of 5 COVID-19 SOP fines just for his campaign activities in Johor.
Najib Abdul Razak has questioned why Lim Kit Siang was not fined for hugging party members at the DAP's annual Congress last weekend. This comes after Lim and PKR President Anwar Ibrahim tested positive for COVID-19 yesterday. Aside from wishing Lim a speedy recovery on Facebook, Najib took a quick jab at the DAP veteran. Najib said he noticed many individuals hugging Lim at the Congress after the latter announced his retirement from politics on Sunday. He questioned why Anugerah Juara Lagu celebrities were fined for hugging, but no compound was issued for the DAP by the Health Ministry. Najib also pointed out that Health Minister Khairy Jamaluddin had even fined him many times. He also suggested that DAP MPs who had hugged Lim go into quarantine and not come into Parliament. On March 10th, Khairy announced that 5 compound notices had been issued to Najib for non-compliance with the COVID-19 SOP during his Johor election campaign trail. However, it was reported that only one of the 5 compound notes had been successfully handed over on March 8th.
Khairy responded to Najib's complaint and said the DAP veteran has been issued a compound, and in the same tweet, Khairy asked Najib to pay his fines.
Health Minister Khairy Jamaluddin has revealed that Najib Abdul Razak's officers refused to accept 4 fines over COVID-19 SOP violations. This comes after a post on Najib's Facebook questioned why DAP veteran Lim Kit Siang was not fined for hugging numerous people during the party's National Congress on Sunday. Khairy explained on his Twitter account that a fine was issued against Lim today. According to a photograph of the fine, which Khairy shared, Lim had violated the law by hugging at a social function. At the same time, Khairy also urged Najib to pay the fine issued to him. On March 8th, a team of Health Ministry officers had attempted to hand the fines to Najib, but was met with one of the Najib's officers instead. 2 days later, Khairy announced that 5 fines were issued to Najib, but only 1 had been successfully handed over. In an immediate response, Najib replied on Facebook, stating that he would pay the 5 fines.
Opposition and government MPs are calling on the government to table the anti-hopping law as promised.
UMNO veteran Shahrir Samad has questioned the non-appearance of the anti-hopping bill in Parliament during the ongoing March session, which is set to end this Thursday. Institutional reforms that were agreed to by the federal government and Pakatan Harapan were promised to be taken to Parliament by March this year. An anti-hopping law is a part of the reform deal, which aims at preventing elected representatives from abusing the mandate given to them by voters. Shahrir said the government's failure to keep to its promises will lead to assumptions about some of its ministers who had jumped parties in the past. He said these kata included the likes of Azmin Ali, Hamzah Zainuddin, Latif Ahmad, Mustafa Muhammad, Zuraida Kamaruddin, and Mas Ermiati Samsudin. Shahrir said, of course, they are not interested in laws that will ban their political habits, so Bersatu does not agree with this bill.
Meanwhile, BN's vocal MP Nazri Aziz supported calls by opposition lawmakers in their push for the anti-hopping law. He said most MPs will support the bill, maybe except the frogs.
The government continues to get more pressure to table and debate the anti-hopping law. More lawmakers are joining the call for it to be done in the current Dewan Rakyat session, which ends on Thursday. The calls came from both government and opposition benches. UMNO lawmaker Nazri Aziz argued that the anti-hopping law must first be tabled for debate, and any proposed changes can be made at a later stage. Previously, de facto Law Minister Wan Junaidi Tuanku Jaafar said the bill for the anti-hopping law requires further deliberation before being tabled in the Dewan Rakyat. Speaking in Parliament today, Nazri said lawmakers would give 100% support for an anti-hopping law, unless those who were frogs. But they are in the minority. The former law minister added that the majority will support it. The present administration under Prime Minister Ismail Sabri Yaakob comprises MPs who had crossed over from UMNO to Bersatu after BN's loss in the 2018 general election. It also comprises those who defected from PKR to Bersatu during the Sheraton move in 2020. Since then, there have been 4 state elections.
Meanwhile, Bersih held a short march today to deliver a memorandum to the government, also urging the tabling of the anti-hopping law.
Bersih, Swaram and several other NGOs marched from Tugu Negara to Parliament to present the government with 2 memorandums this morning. The memorandum from Bersih was to urge the government to table the anti-hopping law as soon as possible.
Kita ada satu akta, satu undang-undang di mana sesiapa yang keluar dari parti pulang kepada rakyat yang milenial untuk dapat mandat yang baru.
Meanwhile, Swaram and several other NGOs submitted a memorandum rejecting the Independent Police Conduct Commission while urging the government to set up the Independent Police Complaints and Misconduct Commission.
Memorandum ini telah disokong oleh 55 buah kumpulan masyarakat sipil. Jadi kita harapkan bagi boleh menolakkan IBCC.
Both memorandums were received on behalf of the government by the Deputy Minister in the Prime Minister's Department in charge of Parliament and Law, Mas Ermiati Samsudin.
Ericsson's 5G contract has been given the all-clear by the Malaysian Anti-Corruption Commission.
MACC has found that the 5G contract awarded to Ericsson was done through proper procedures. This is according to a written reply to Lembah Pantai MP Fahmi Fadzil. Fahmi asked the government to review the contract and for the MACC to conduct an investigation on the award. Following this, the Prime Minister's department said there is no reasonable suspicion over how the contract was awarded. Fahmi had raised the matter while debating the royal address earlier this month, following a media expose on Ericsson's dealings in other countries. Among others, the expose by the International Consortium for Investigative Journalists detailed how Ericsson had used corrupt ways to win contracts in various countries, including Iraq.
Rumours that Farhash was sacked by Anwar are not true, according to the opposition leader himself.
PKR President Anwar Ibrahim has refuted claims that his former political secretary Farhash Wafa Salvador had been sacked. Speaking to Malaysia Kini, Anwar said Farhash hasn't been sacked from any position and the relationship remains good. He said this when asked about rumours that Farhash was removed as the Perak PKR chairperson last September. Gopeng MP Dr. Lee Boon Chai replaced Farhash as the party's interim Perak chief. Meanwhile, Farhan Fauzi was appointed as Anwar's political secretary. When contacted, Farhash said he had resigned and was not sacked. Asked to explain the reason for resigning, Farhash said this is so that his participation in the party polls won't affect Anwar as PKR president. Farhash previously announced that he would be contesting in the Gombak division. He is slated to go up against Selangor Menteri Besar Amiruddin Syari during the party polls in May.
And that is all from me today. For more stories, you can go to KiniTV.com. You can also follow us on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube and Facebook for the latest news updates. If you'd like to support independent media, do consider subscribing to MalaysiaKini.com. I'm Prasad. Thank you for watching.